Today's topic is really interesting. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy is going to talk about the trade winds. You may have heard about these, especially if you've ever read or seen anything on sailing across the ocean. Trade winds are really important to mariners because they are different types of winds that affect different parts of the globe. And it all has to do with that map that you see next to me. Trade winds and westerlies at different locations in the world where the wind blows predominantly from one direction. So that's today's topic. Trade winds with meteorologist Chris Mulcahy.
Captain Mulhab here to talk about the trade winds. The trade winds blow from west to east and have been a big reason why that we're even here in America. The European explorers back in the days decided to hit maybe the ocean blue back in 1492 using the trade winds. Yes, Christopher Columbus used the trade winds to discover America. But also another thing uses the trade winds called hurricanes. Today, we learn everything about the trade winds and how they steer ship vessels and even hurricanes this time of year. All right, Chris Mulcahy's back in action. Got my WCNC hat on. Captain Mulhab had to go aboard the ship and hop on the seven seas. Not really sure what that accent was, by the way, so sorry about that. But first, let's talk about winds in general. So winds here in the Charlotte area for today, fairly light. They'll pick up a little bit later on in the afternoon, but the lighter winds, the changing winds, that's our day-to-day. Sometimes winds can be out of the south and southwest. That's going to be a warmer direction. And whenever they're out of the northwest or northeast, that usually blows in some colder air. That's significant because winds are always changing here, but there's certain parts of the world that the winds are always the same, such as the trade winds. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But one quick lesson before we move any further. Whenever we're talking about winds, it's all about where winds are coming from, not where they're going. So whenever I say there's a southwesterly wind, that means the winds are coming from the southwest. Even though they're moving off towards the northeast, southwesterly just means the direction that they're coming from. Another quiz, whenever I say northwesterly, that means winds are coming from the northwest. That's important because I'm going to be using a lot of those terms coming up in this week's weather school.
So what is a trade wind? A trade wind specifically is just wind blowing steadily towards the equator from the northeast in the northern hemisphere or from the southeast in the southern hemisphere. These two belts of trade winds encircle the earth, blowing from a tropical high pressure belt to a low pressure zone right around the equator. So that's more of a complicated look at all the above, but diving a little bit further in, these all form from the equators initially. Warm air rises around the equator and will flow towards the poles. But as that air moves away from the equator, eventually it has to sink. It hits some drier air. Radiational cooling is going to make it more dense, as we learned last week, and that's going to allow that air to sink. The Coriolis effect is also a fancy term for pretty much the effect that the circulation of the earth has on our winds, and it has a bigger effect than you'd think. Actually, the direction that your toilet water flows in the toilet is going to be because of the rotation of the earth. And if you ever go to the equator, it's really interesting that you only have to walk 10 feet and the flow of water, say just north of the equator to just south, is going to be opposite of each other. But this Coriolis effect is going to deflect the winds towards the right, and it cools and descends right around 30 degrees north or 30 degrees south. And that descending air is blowing from the northeast to the southwest back to the equator in the northern hemisphere. That's the trade winds that we're mainly talking about. Those are the trade winds those great explorers use to discover America and sail off towards the west. And a lot of sailors nowadays still use some of those currents. So these prevailing winds, known as the trade winds, meet at what's called the intertropical convergence zone. But this area also has another term, the Doldrums. You probably heard this term before, stuck in the Doldrums. That pretty much means you're not going anywhere. So it's at this zone that the winds don't really blow all that much because the trade winds are just north of this and it's not going to be affecting you. So the convergence zone, or the Doldrums, is right between 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south. So either side of the equator. And this is where the winds are the most calm. The remaining air that does not descend from 30 degrees north or south continues towards the poles, and that's known as the westerly winds. Just to mention this wind that is north of that, that's what's also going to be a big gliding source of most of our weather systems that typically flow from west to east. And as we learn from wind directions, since they're called the westerlies, they come from the west. And you probably guessed it, why are we calling it the trade winds? Well, the trade winds are also named that because the ships, trade ships, would use these to trade across the Atlantic. And especially when America was discovered, there was a lot of back and forth with all that. So they would use the trade winds to get to America, and then they would sail from the westerlies that goes from west to east to go back to Europe.
By the way, quick little lesson break. I'm so glad I have all these hats because my hair is going crazy under this quarantine. All right, back to the lesson. All right, let's talk about easterly waves. Now, this is actually a trick because an easterly wave essentially is just that of the trade winds because, as we mentioned, the trade winds move from east to west. So right at the top, I was mentioning whatever the wind direction is coming from, that is what's usually going to have the term easterly or southwesterly, wherever the winds are originating from. So many hurricanes begin as large undulations or ripples in the trade winds, or these easterly waves as we're talking about. And a lot of these will come off the African shore. So let me draw some streamlines. So these streamlines are just going to be some low-level airflow. All right, here's the axis. Picture this is between about 30 degrees north to about 15 degrees north. So this is a prime spot that a lot of tropical disturbances, tropical storms, hurricanes will form. If you want to think of where this would pretty much be where Cuba is, right on the bottom, about 15 to 20 degrees north latitude, just to explain a little bit more. So these waves, as we mentioned, are moving from east to west. And since they're moving from east to west, they're not going to be directly in that direction. So oftentimes they'll head towards the poles and then also start to diverge back towards the equator. But you need to know two terms. One, convergence, and one, divergence. So convergence is where winds are all flowing into one direction and they start to slow down. I think the best way to describe this is picture if you're in traffic, mom, dad are driving, and one lane ends. Eventually traffic has to slow down because everyone is converging into, say, 2 lanes. But if a lane opens up after that traffic, it diverges, and usually things will speed up afterwards. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. This line right here is also known as the convergence axis. And since you have little bit of curvature here, that's what usually causes the first rotation of some of these tropical cyclones, hurricanes, tropical storms, whatever the status is, or whatever part of the country that you're going to be in. So this right here is the main reason why we have these tropical waves form out in the Atlantic that eventually leads to some pretty strong hurricanes, all depending. Now, tropical disturbances, most of them die out, but a lot of them get pretty strong because they have this ideal cyclonic rotation, which usually originates from something like this. So tropical disturbances are associated with convergent flow of the easterly wave. Those easterly waves can extend anywhere from 1,200 to 1,800 miles. So this is a big area that a lot of hurricanes can form, but they usually don't move all that fast. They move anywhere from about 10 to 20 miles per hour on average. And at this rate, it'll take an embedded tropical disturbance a week to even 10 days, so 7 to 10 days to move across the North Atlantic. And that's a big advantage when we're forecasting hurricanes, because at least you have several days to prepare, to evacuate, where we have a good idea of what's happening. And sometimes we're following them from over 1,200 to the 1,800 mile range off the coast of Africa as that easterly wave is just forming and growing as it hits those warmer ideal waters. So there you have it. The trade winds are responsible for western expansion back in the day with Christopher Columbus, Ponce de Leon, Leif Erikson of the Vikings, Amerigo Vespucci, just to name a few. And also the main reason why we have the gliding forces from west to east for typhoons, tropical cyclones, and hurricanes.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, great. Explain explained to her about the trade winds because it really is important when we talk about open waves and tropical waves. People hear that term and wonder why that is. It's because of the trade winds. And in the summertime, we watch to the southeast of us to see stuff coming in off the Atlantic. It's like a 180-degree difference from what we track the rest of the year when we're watching fronts coming in from the north and the west. It's a completely big flip in our pattern. Remember, you can go back and watch these at WCNC.com. They are going to be on our Facebook page, our Twitter feed, as well as our YouTube channel, WCNC.com. Great place to go. Check them out. We got a playlist with all of them in there.